Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What's up? What's going down? Gravecrawler here, and today I wanted to bring you my Anzudak Wrathbringer deck tech. Echoes of Eternity's out, Dragons are out, and this has been a blast. I've been really enjoying this contender. The Wrath ability that is new to this set, it's so fun. It's so fun. So yeah, this is the list, and I wanted to talk to you about my thoughts and where I am with this list. So something to say to kind of give you a bit of a framework to this list, because I think it's important to mention. You could go much heavier into traps than I have done, but to me, I wanted to build a list that really revolved around Wrath as a mechanic. So I just want you to bear that in mind when it comes to this list. I am trying to do quite a lot of stuff around that. Anyway, without further ado, this is Anzudak the Wrathbringer. When I first read this card, the first thing that I paid attention to is it says draw a card, so we've got to pay attention to that. And that is when you activate the first non-trap ambush trap during an opponent's turn, this card gets +1 defense until the end of the turn, then you may draw a card. When you resolve a Wrath effect, you may deal 1 damage to target Clash card. Okay, so we'll talk about this in a bit, but we need to run at least a good amount of traps that we're playing on our opponent's turn because we want to be drawing cards. And I will tell you now, Wrath is an effect that is fantastic, but it's very card intensive. So drawing cards is really important. And then at 15, dragon cards you control get in Rage 1. Okay. So, the main card in this deck that I'm absolutely loving, and I think is an absolute powerhouse, that is Anzudak Aerial Dominator. A 5/5 flight Clash card that says, while you control a Dracaroth Clash Ground, this card gets undisputed, and until the end of the turn, ready this card. Trigger victory, Wrath. Put a Dragon Clash card from your Oblivion on top of your deck. If you do, you may draw 2 cards and ready this card. I mean, a 5/5 flyer alone is already something to pay attention to, but then on top of that, being able to potentially draw cards on victory, being able to ready yourself at the end of your own turn. Oh, this card's so good, and it's been consistently performing really well for me so far. So it's important to mention I am running Dracaroth Clash Grounds, and let's talk about that now quickly. I'm running 5 copies. So we're running this Dracaroth here, 3 cost, Dragon contenders you control get +1 defense. Cool. And admittedly, the bottom half of the ability I'm not currently using because I don't feel like there is traps that are worthy of the downside of that. So yeah, it is 3 cost plus defense, but obviously for Anzudak's ability. And then 2 copies of Anzudak's Lair. The first non-ambush trap you would activate each turn costs 1 less to play. And then trigger enter. It basically recycles itself. So yeah, 5 copies of the battleground that's going to help untap this at the end of my turn. They're absolutely fine. Admittedly, if this card didn't exist, I probably wouldn't run either of these cards, but I think the upside of untapping at the end of every turn is worthy of it. +1 defense to your contender, pretty decent. And then Anzudak's Lair being able to make your Energy Blast and your Tampered Reinforcements free. Pretty good. But yeah, that's where we are with that. While we're on the subject of really large dragons, Anzudak the Wrathful, it doesn't get much bigger than this. It is a 7 cost 8/6 Barrage 2 Breakthrough Flying Unrivaled. Yeah, that is a lot of keywords that, I mean, I hurt my throat just saying it all. You may only play this card though if you have a Dracaroth Clash Ground. Again, another key reason why we want to have a good number of those. I think 5 is the number that's correct right now, but I could see a world in which I went up to 6 if I felt like a lot of people were responding. Maybe I'd run 1 in the sideboard, just in case there was people with a lot of Clash Ground removal. But also, when this card is revealed for a Wrath effect, deal 8 damage divided between any number of Clash cards and put a Dragon Clash card from your Oblivion into your hand, then banish this card and trigger the Wrath effect. My goodness. I mean, this can be a board wipe, and being able to get a dragon back on top of that is really, really strong. And if you don't have the Clash Grind out, you could just use it for the Wrath effect anyway. This is monstrous. It's really good. The obvious and only downside, like with any of these Unrivaled cards, there's only one copy in the deck, so I've been finding that I'm not seeing it as often as I'd like, but when I do, it is an absolute game changer. Fantastic. If you play this down and your opponent doesn't answer it straight away, you've probably won the game on the spot. Cards fantastic. That's Anzudak the Wrathful. Next card to talk about, another large dragon. That's just Anzudak. It is a 6-cost 5/6 bound card, and I know people are probably going to go, huh? You're running 4 copies of a bound card? Yes, and I'll tell you why. It is because I'm running is it a Vanguard? I don't remember the names of these new roles, but yes, whatever it is, Anzudak is that role. So I will get to draw a card as an ETB. A 5/6 that draws a card is already not bad for 6, but it is also bound, so I do want to see copies early because we have got other cards in this deck that are 3 resource green thresholds, so we really want to make sure that we've got a good amount of green thresholds as early as possible. And I think this is the most important point for this, it is a 6-cost dragon, and thus it triggers all Wrath effects for all of my other cards. 6 is the magic number where every other card, this will be higher than every other card, and therefore it will trigger every other Wrath in the deck. So yeah, if you've got a copy already in your resource row, you don't think it's that strong and you've got a stronger card, or you've got a strong Wrath effect, you can just send them away and you're getting advantage that way. So yeah, I maybe could be convinced down to 3 copies, but I think this is, until the card pool for dragons widens, this card's really, really good. Speaking of really, really good cards, I'm only running 3 copies of it, but that's because I think I'd run a 4th in the sideboard, and that's Anzudak Infernal Incarnate. Simple card, 3 cost, 3/3, but as a Wrath effect, being able to deal 3 damage to a Clash card. Just removal on a stick for when the opponent's playing really aggressively. It just allows you to stabilize faster. It's been performing really well in my playtesting. But yeah, I'm not running 4 copies just because there is the odd time where if you're just playing this as a 3/3 body all the time for 3, it doesn't feel quite as impactful. So yeah, 3 copies, probably 1 in the side. Really good card though, really good card. Speaking of cards that I thought were really good, but not quite performing the way that I'd like, that's Anzudak Apex Predator. 4 attack, 5 defense, 5 cost. It's got a trigger attack, Wrath. This card gets plus attack where its X is its specific resource cost. So most of the cards that you're going to be doing this with are normally 3 specific resources. So let's assume that to be the case. This can be a 7/5 for the turn, but I'm finding most of the time people can just block it. It doesn't have any evasive, so therefore it's not quite doing what I want it to do. I've still got 2 copies in the list just because I do think it's really strong being able to say if your opponent's fully tapped out or they don't have a board state at the time, being able to come in and potentially selectively deal 7 unanswered is obviously phenomenal, but that's the exception, not the rule. And without any evasive, it's just very mid. It is, of course, also recyclable if I don't need it, though. That's the great thing about the dragon. So yeah, on 2 copies at the moment. I think that's where it's going to stay for now. Bit of an underperformer for me. That one really was high on it when I first read it, but it's still good enough for the deck. Anzudak Elemental Tyrant. This card overperformed for me so far. It's an exclusive 3/4 for 4. If a source you control would deal non-clash damage to a contender or clash card you don't control, it deals that much damage plus 1 instead. Energy Blast for 3. And on top of that, whenever you resolve a Wrath effect, this card gets +1/+1 and flying until the end of the turn. A 4/5 flyer for 4 for the turn. Pretty decent. And yeah, being able to ping for extra damage +1 each time is really, really nice. Been really enjoying this card. It's very good. The reason why I'm only on 3 copies is simply just because it's exclusive. So there is times where like I will already have one out. So I was feeling like sometimes I was flooded with them and already had the one out. So I'm on 3 copies right now. But yeah, that card's fantastic. So, cards that I thought were fantastic, and maybe the comment section is going to disagree with me on this. Fire Breath. Card's good, but it's certainly not as good as I initially thought it was. I'm on 2 copies right now. I started at 4 and I've been whittling down ever since. A 4 cost, 2 attach. In fact, you may as well just ignore the attach because basically it says trigger enter Wrath, attach this card to your contender and deal 5 damage to target Clash card. While this is attached, dragon cards get +1 attack while attacking, and non-clash damage you deal lasts until the end of the turn. So, the main thing that I really like about this, the non-clash damage lasting until the end of the turn is really, really nice. Being able to like ping, do something else, ping, maybe swing, then ping again. That's been really, really neat. And being able to, on the enter Wrath, being able to deal 5 damage to target Clash card can be really good for removal in that mid game. But I find that to get the absolute maximum out of this, you're having to bin a card, then hope that you're dealing 5 damage to something and you want to get the most value. So you're going to hope that it's got 5 defense on it. And then you want to have a wide board of dragons so that you're giving them all +1 attack and loads of non-clash damage. All of that isn't lining up, basically. So I'm on 2 copies. I could see a world in which I went to a 3rd. I definitely am not going to 4, though. Again, if you guys have any reason why I should be running higher, please let me know in the comments section below, or tell me if it's been performing better for you. But right now, it's not for me, so I'm at 2 copies of that card. Right, where else? So, let's carry on with the creatures. Let's finish off with the creatures. We've got Anzudak, Terror of the Skies. It's a 4/3 flyer. It's evasive. It's got a good attack stat. And on top of that, being able to protect itself because it says, while an opponent controls a Clash card with Flight or Interception, this card gets close combat. Really good to just be able to at least trade. Well, not trade. Be able to kill their thing that is obstructing you. Really, really cool. If not, 4/3 in the air. Pretty damn decent. And then finally for the creatures, we've got Fangin, Mystic of Dracaroth. It is a 6 cost flying 7/5. So this vanilla creature is pretty good in this deck. It's doing a couple of things for me. I'm running 4 copies of it because I use it as a green resource quite often. It is great in the end game because if they don't have flying defense, being able to come in for 7 can just finish the game, right? That is a lot of damage and it needs to be answered. But most importantly, similar to what we were talking about earlier with this Anzudak, it is triggering all Wraths in my deck. So it's, you know, if I'm drawing it early, I can recycle it with this Anzudak or, you know, any say this Fire Breath. But in the late game, it's there if I need it as well. So that's why this deck is a bit top heavy in terms of resources, because so many of them can effectively be bottomed for additional effects. I think I like this amount of copies. I could see me maybe going down 1 copy, but as it stands, 4 copies. That's where I'm at with this card. So let's go all the way back to the ability. And remember, we want traps in this deck. And I've selected a couple that I thought stood out to me because we want to be drawing cards. Wrath effects are really intensive on resources, on hand resources, i.e. cards. So we really want to be drawing cards where we can. So we want to run at least a good number of traps. So start with Energy Blast. This is great. This card is helping you in the early game to not fall too far behind against aggressive decks. And it is just damage to a clash card. So there might be times where, for example, you have Fire Breath out. And because damage lasts until the end of the turn, you might then be able to ping other damage at another point in the turn. That's been quite neat with this card as well. And at worst, as long as you're able to play it, it is just a cantrip for 1 anyway. So this card's been doing really, really well for me. 4 copies of that in the list. The other red trap that we're running in the list, 2 copies of Tampered Reinforcements. I think in terms of sideboard, I'd probably run 2 more of these for aggressive decks. It says counterattack, your contender gets +1 defense and gets plus attack, where X is its defense until the end of the clash. Cantrip, defensive, helping against aggressive decks. I only not on 4 copies just because I needed to make some cuts somewhere, and I feel like the other 2 traps are more powerful than it. But if I found that I was against, like, say, a war deck, for example, I'd probably sideboard 2 more copies of that card in. The next trap, Plague Bearer's Embrace. Counterplay, you may activate this trap. If a clash card is being played, that card is sent to oblivion instead of entering, and the controller of that card may discard 2 cards to negate this effect. So, unless it's their win condition, having to discard 2 cards is a very hefty cost. So effectively 3 cost, removing their thing before it even comes in, and you draw a card on top of that. And it's a green threshold as well if I want to get the, say, 3rd threshold to play the large dragon at the end of the game. Card's really good. Card is very, very good. And then Deafening Soundwave, 3 cost, counter attack, prevent all clash damage that will be dealt during this clash. Then choose 1. Target player discards a card. Target opponent may declare only 1 more attack this turn. Most of the time it's discarding a card. So being able to prevent damage, draw a card yourself, make them discard a card, or if you're against a very wide board state, basically negating the rest of their turn effectively, other than 1 more thing to swing with, can be really, really good. 3 copies of this, and again, green threshold. Lastly, this card, Avarice, Progenitor of Greed. Now, with this card, I must say in advance, this is a brand new inclusion for me today. I have not tested with this card yet, so it's really important to mention that with this. But my thought process was as follows. 4 cost 5/5 is a great rate for a card, but obviously it has a downside. You may only play this card if you control more accessories than any opponent. Well, I did have to check the rules on this one. Face down traps are accessories that you control. We're gonna, in theory, have quite a few of those out. Hopefully more than our opponent most of the time. Therefore, that shouldn't be a big problem for this. Especially because, I don't know, it doesn't go away if I don't have more than them. All I need to do is have more than them at the point that I play it. And it's considered a dragon for the purposes of wrath effects as well. It's only going to be able to trigger this wrath effect on the Inferno Incarnate, but it's still pretty good. But a 5 body for 4 can really help us in that like early mid game where we're just trying to maybe defend out and get to these like bigger plays, 5, 7. The bottom ability, admittedly, I don't even think I have considered, and I don't believe I can even do it, so I'm ignoring that for now. And of course, it's a green threshold, again, for if I want to play this down late game, or maybe I need the 2nd threshold for, say, play Bringer's Embrace. Don't know how this is going to go, but it's certainly interesting, and I want to try it more. But yeah, that's it, guys. That is the deck. If you've got any suggestions, please let me know in the comments below. It's been doing really well. You know, the version that I have been testing is very close to this. It's been doing pretty well so far. I've been really, really enjoying it. Wrath's been super fun. Just being able to slam massive dragons down and swing has just been amazing. And on that note, Echoes of Eternity is out, and I must say it is genuinely my favourite set of all time for Alpha Clash. It's so good. There is sealed play. There's draft. I love the fact that the style has shifted slightly to sci-fi and fantasy, but while still maintaining that comic book aesthetic. It has been fantastic. And it is, I think, quite good for new players as well, because I think a lot of these new contenders have a lot of cards self-contained within this set. So, for example, I think like 3/4 of the cards in the deck that you're seeing on the screen now is from the new set. It's a really good jumping on point. And on top of that, 36 pack boxes just feels really fun to open. Been really enjoying it. Highly recommend it to you guys. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I will link the deck in the description below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye for now.